need to start wearing different clothes or people are going to think you're homeless. I wear the same things because I enjoy them, sexually. I sexually enjoy what life gives me. Well, my friends, I tried to do a driving thing, but I don't have enough memory for that. I could do 18 minutes, which to some people is quite a bit of time. Sometimes I wonder about my fucking hair, the way it was cut. It wants to do the old man thing here, and I'm just... whatever. It's all this extra shit that fucking pisses me off. I have to just be bald, dude. I'm sick of hair. Anyway, okay, so I tried to do a little driving thing. Some sort of fluid in my hands. And, well, we only had 18 minutes, and for me, it sounds like, oh, no, not for me. So, I couldn't get anything going. Like, I was going to start talking about, well, I'll talk about it here. I completed the book officially. Like, I said that before, but I completed it, Eris's story. There was a side character story, because Eris was traveling with someone, and then they, you know, and so think of Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers kind of shit. Two different stories happening. Now, that's all done. So what I'm doing is I'm going to be going through, I pulled the side character, I'm just calling him that, I pulled him out, every segment that it was just him, and I put it in a whole separate document, and I'm going to read it front to back to see how fluid everything is, if the high story makes sense, if that plot stuff, you know, with Eris and all that. Like, I just want to make sure it all makes sense. And then once I kind of edit it, fix it, get it all nice and stuff, I'm going to impose it back in. And then from that point, I'll know during the reread and like rewrite or the edit, whatever, like the editing part, I'll know that Cypress' sections are good. It'll just be the sections of Eris, which are 2/3 of the book, but I mean, 1/3 of the book's good, you know? So with that, I've already done the legwork of finding every segment that he was ever had his own little viewpoint, and then I put it into the document called Cypress' Perspective. And that should be what we're working on going forward for a while. There's still things that can be done. I don't know in what way I can do it, because it's like, well, there's dialogue sections to work on to make sure that the conversations flow and sound natural. Every single dialogue section, there's descriptor parts where I kind of just blaze my way through of like describing the land or describing they go into a city, what it looks like, because I'm just like, you know, stream of consciousness, I don't want to fuck around with that, because then I'll lose the flow. So I just kind of said, whatever. I gotta kind of fatten that up a little bit, kind of lore wise, you know, build it. And then after those two main things and fixing the plot stuff, it's just, I mean, spell check is done, the grammar, like according to the Microsoft Word is fine. I just have to do that. There's only a few really big things that have to happen. So the cipher section will be the biggest. Then after that, it'll be like dialogue, like I said, and then world building, like world adding, because the world is built. I have to add. You know, if I say they walked to a town called the Bechet, and I'm just like, and then it was just a town called the Bechet. Anyway, he went to the tavern. Like, I just kind of want to make sure if it really matters, I can, you know, to envelop the reader. Like a section like that, if I want to convey Eris is afraid, I need to convey it through the lore of the place. Is it nighttime? Is it raining? You know, the tropes and shit. Or is it something else? I don't know. That's gonna be freaky if if I re-edit and see something walk by back there. I think about that. While during this videos you see something, so because I'm alone. Like, what the fuck? I hope not. Anyway, that'd be freaky as hell, dude. I'll probably stop. Like, you won't hear from me again. He moved. But yeah, there's quite a bit of work ahead of it, but the book is done. And like I said, I think I said in one of the last videos, like, I don't really feel accomplished about that, though. Like, it doesn't feel like, whoa, dude, you finished a book. You finished writing a book, not reading, writing. I don't know. I don't really feel anything from it. Like, it doesn't invoke, like, satisfaction. I think I talked about in the last videos. It's like, it's hard to feel satisfaction with things for me. It just feels like now we just gotta do another thing. On to the next, you know. Like, I don't want to be on to the next is the point I'm trying to make. Like, I don't think like, all right, next thing. Like, I don't want to do anymore. I just know there has to be more done. Like, nothing's ever done, I think, is the point I'm trying to make. I'm noticing in life, you know. If I do something to my truck and I'm done, I fucking did it. It doesn't feel like, yeah. It feels like I'm going to be doing this again. You know, if it's an oil change, like the things you're doing all the time, I do those every 2,000 miles. So that's like every month, basically. 2 months or whatever. I don't even fucking pay attention. Or maybe it's 3, I don't know. But like, it just, fucking A, dude. Or, you know, working on anything. There's no accomplishment because you're just going to be doing it again. Or you're going to be doing something else because of that. Or you got this done, but you still got that to do. Like, nothing is ever done. Nothing. There's always something that needs doing. There's always something that needs to be repaired. Or something that needs to be maintained. Or in this case, edited. Fleshed out. I'm probably going to do all the stuff that I'll do. I'm assuming it's going to take another year to do it right. Based on me having a full-time job. You know, I can't devote 8 hours a day to it. So it's going to take a year. At most. And then, okay, it would be so demoralizing. I fucking hone it, man. I get it all squared away to which it makes perfect sense to me. Like, I got the cipher section all in just one document and make sure it all flows correctly. Then I zoom in even more with, like, mention of a high story element. And I just fucking every section make sure that it flows. Its train of thought flows. Like, I'm going to go that far. And watch. I'll give it to someone and they'll be like, I don't know. Like, you know, a few paragraphs in, like, I don't know, it's not really my thing. You know, I tried that with some before and that's what I heard. So I had to do a whole rewrite. It's like, well, fuck, it's not capturing you in the first paragraph. Well, then fuck this. You know, or I'm thinking more of an editor. Yeah, like, just like, I don't know, man. This doesn't seem to be it. I don't understand, you know, some stupid fucking shit. Like, well, then keep reading, dumbass. Like, that's how life is. You just, I don't get this, so I'm gonna not live anymore. Like, no, you start to figure things out. You know, I just don't know why people see the world the way they do. It blows my mind, you know, sometimes. Like, if I give you a book and you're confused about it, well, what do you think? I'm confused about everything I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, I'm confused why the sun keeps coming out. It's like, doesn't mean I'm like, well, no, I'm not doing it, not my thing. And then go off and do, you can't do that. I would hope that people treat the book that way because that's how life is. I don't know. Let's not labor that anymore. I just feel like the more I talk, the more I alienate my mind from others. But any whizzles, we're pretty good with the story. Like, generally, like the, you know, oh my god, what's that word? The general story, like, you know, from beginning to end, I know what happens. You know what I mean? Like, I know the plot. I get it. I wrote it. I feel pretty okay about it. There are sections that I don't know how to feel yet. There are other sections that I, you know, reread and I was like, damn, this is pretty good. You know, like, I kind of allowed myself to reread it because sometimes it's just, for me, it's hard to reread what I write. Gotta clean my boots soon. One of the things I don't really enjoy about it is the beginning of the book. I don't really know how to feel about it. I need outside opinions for that, because I myself am not a big fan of it. Something just doesn't feel right to me is what I'm trying to say. Like, so, like, Eris lives in Aval, which is a giant port city. It's a big metropolis, okay? Now, that's kind of passively borrowed from when I was young. And this was not a giant metropolis I went to, so it just felt like that. When I was young, I've always lived in the country. When I'm used to seeing just miles and miles of fucking fields and forests and fields and forests and fields. Like, that's all, I'm used to that. You know, the town I live in is so small, you can go from one end to the other in a few miles, not even. And we're talking, including its like suburbs from outside of it. It's a small town I grew up in, like no one's ever heard of it. And the town that I went to school in was even smaller than that. That fucker wasn't even that big. It was probably like a mile radius or something. And so, like, I'm used to small town. But when I was little, we would go visit family up in the Thumb of Michigan, near the Thumb. It was called Port Huron, and it was, to me, because I was so young, I had never seen anything like that. I mean, I still have never seen the ocean, and the biggest water I've ever seen was Lake Huron. That's the biggest water I've ever seen in my entire life. And, you know, still to this day, I've not seen anything, you know, more than that. And so we would go there, and it just felt like this giant metropolis to me. And again, it wasn't. I know this now. But at the time, as a young child, under the age of 5, it felt fucking special. And I loved going there. And I loved, like, oh my God, we get to go to Port Huron, you know, and visit family. And it was, for me, you know, it was a very frightening thing, because I've always been scared of people. So with my own family, I hide. I've always been that way. I would go and hide away, and I just don't know why. I was always like that. I was always scared. You know, family events, I'd be hiding in the other room. And I still do that to this day. I don't hide like a child, but I hide like an adult, where I pretend I'm doing things. I'm very uncomfortable around family. I always have been. It's honestly getting worse as I get older. But for me, going back to Port Huron, it was like, it kind of was a magical place. And I wanted to just see the water. You know? Like, I would go and like, we've only been to the beach maybe once or twice. Probably once where I actually went in the water my entire life. Of going up there. And like, that was Aval for me. So that's kind of why Eris didn't grow up in a small village. It's a fantasy. I wanted to grow up in a place like that. And maybe that's something I could do a little bit better, is to capture that. I'll try to capture that a lot more. Oh my God, I'm tired of rewriting though. It's just like, I want it to be done. But yeah, I'll relook at that, revisit that, and try to capture that moment of how I felt when I was young. At the time, and looking back, there's something really special about Port Huron for me. Holy shit, I think he just took a dump. Damn, brother. Whoo! Fucking protein shit right there. Hold on. I'll be right there. Fucking incense, because good lord. We might as well just start the next one. Your grandma said, at least. But yeah, it was just a big thing for me at the time. Growing up and getting to experience that place, because, you know, and I know Port Huron's kind of gotten scummy over the years, at least that's what I hear from family out there. And it's like, Not as a nice a place that it used to be. Which sucks. That sounds like everywhere that's not focused on. It turns to crime and it turns to delinquency, people, and, you know, a lot of stupidity. Which, you know, it's a bummer. Oh, I think I hurt my leg somehow. Ow, fuck. Just turned it a little bit wrong. But, yeah, for me, within the book, there are elements of feelings from when I was younger, or aspects from it, because the point in which Eris is like being a viewpoint, I think he's 17 or 18. When I was 17 and 18, I was hiding away in a room with no friends. So I didn't really, like, I can't draw from that era of my life. I was doing that. I was walking around smoking cigarettes and listening to music. Just walking around the city I live in by myself. That's all I was doing at the time. I was a lot of internalizing and self-reflection and shit, and just walking around fantasizing about who I could be, who I should be, and why am I not, was the biggest thing that I was doing in those years. And it sounds super depressing, because it probably is. You know, I didn't really make friends until I met Billy and Kevin in 2012. So from before 2012 to 2007 or 8, I just had no one and I was alone. So I just kind of, you know, try to just, you know, be okay, I guess is how you'd say it. So for me, a lot of, I don't know, a lot of my story with Eris, it kind of has to reflect a little bit. It's delayed a little bit. Like the Evolve period and then him kind of going out, and Adventure 1 is a lot different for me, because Book 2 is probably going to explore more of my feeling alone all the time and having nobody. So like the years that I've had that, and you know, I remember there was a point in my life where I had lived a longer period not having friends or a place to be than I did having those. It was a harder time. You know, it does feel like a lifetime ago. I do reflect back and think about it. And there's a weird longing for that. Because, like, though I was alone, you know, though I had no friends or no relationship, or I had nothing, I felt like, I think looking back, I was the most free, and I didn't appreciate that. I had nothing holding me down. I could do whatever I want, whenever I wanted. I had no money, so not really, but, you know, within reason. I mean, I thought about, like, dude, if I could just buy an old motorcycle, I could just travel around and live like that. Like, you know, I was planning on living like a fucking gypsy or some shit. Not knowing how much work it would have been. I would have had to learn how to work on things, and I fucking hate working on things. As an adult, I hate it. But I do look back at those points in my life and say, like, you know, maybe I was the saddest I'd ever been. Just super depressed, you know, but at least I was feeling. At least I allowed myself to feel everything that ever happened. I never turned to drugs or alcohol. I just allowed it to hit me. And I remember that being a conscious choice. It wasn't a passive choice. It was conscious. I was like, I'm not gonna numb myself. I'm going to feel this shit. I'm going to allow this sadness to envelop me. I'm going to figure it out. I'm not going to run from it. I want to learn from it, right? It was my goal. Not that I sought out sadness, but when it did come, I didn't shy away from it. You know, I definitely walked through it a bit and tried to, surface things in the muck and to see what's underneath it. That was the goal. Whenever I felt that way, which happened to be more often than not. But because of that, it taught me a lot about who I am. Not that I know everything about myself, but I do know more than I would have if I didn't. I'm more appreciative of, like, the good moments. Not always. Sometimes. But there's always in me, I think, the thing I struggle with. Like, what I struggle with the most is a sensation of, like, always wanting more. If I could just get a little bit more. If I could just feel a little more. All my life I looked for a stable, strong relationship, and now I have it. I have the one thing I ever dreamt of as a child. I mean, I remember always wanting to have, like, a girlfriend or a wife, that we were truly in love and we did everything for each other, and we were together and we were just like a team. And I always wanted that. Like a random memory of, like, when I was really little and The Lion King came out. And I remember the scene where the Simba and the chick were falling in love. And I just, even at that age, I was like, I'll probably never have that. You know? I just remember feeling that way, for whatever reason. I don't know why. I thought, like, I'll never have love like that. But I did. And it took me many years, and I would pretend like, man, I wish... It sounds super depressing, but I wish a woman would like me. I wish I could express myself fully. I wish I could be, in a relationship and all that. I had not been in one. I mean, my first one began at age like 21 or 22. It took a long time for me to work up the courage to actually go out and do it. So it was hard. It was difficult to do, honestly. But, like, that was the most trying time for me, and now that I'm older, I have that. But I always want more. You know what I mean? And that is the biggest struggle that I have in my life, is stopping that feeling of, like, but more. You're with a wonderful human being. But I could be with two. I could be with three. I could... I want to taste the fucking rainbow or whatever the fuck it is, or, I don't know the sayings, damn it. Taste the rainbow? Sure. You want the whole fucking thing. Not a little slice of it, man. Like, it's such an unfair sensation to go through for everybody. And it's not one that I'm proud of, but it's something that I do struggle with. So, like, as to how that goes in the book, I don't know. Could it be Cypress's obsession? Could be. I don't know. I don't even know what this video is going to be about, honestly. What am I even talking about? My childhood? Yeah, there'll be times where I'll just feel really melancholy, or just, weary. It seems to kind of come and go, but it always comes back. This weariness of living, of experiencing, of feeling, of learning, of doing, and You know, taking things in, making things, having new skills, meeting new people, learning new concepts of life, expanding my mind more, learning more about emotional intelligence, learning more and more how to be closer with the people that I care about, you know, learning more about what interests I have and what skills I have. Like, that shit makes me just so weary all the time. Like, I don't know how people can just constantly live their life chasing. Growth is tiresome. I feel that way a lot. A lot. Like, I don't want to admit it, you know. I don't ever like to, no, I'm, you know, like, I'm fine. But, you know, I'm not. I know I'm not. It's just, it's so wearisome to, at times, to just keep going. And not like I want to die. I'm saying, like, keep going as in continuing to be better. To be stronger, to be smarter, to be more caring, to be more open-minded, to be more, you know, like that stuff, it's tiresome is what I mean. It's tired to keep going on like that. Working on self. Living's easy, you know. That's the easy part. It's striving to be better, which is fucking tough. I would say, at least in my life it is. I'm tired of being good at things. You know, I'm tired of, like, someone, it seems like every fucking time someone's like, I want to show you something, or I want you to do this. I just have a natural skill at it, and I'm like, I don't want to fucking be good at this. I'm tired of being good at things. I want to suck at something. For some reason. Like, I picked up music, and it just, like, I'm not saying I was excellent, I was a virtuoso, and do, like, I just picked it up well enough to be like, wow, you have skill, you could do this. You know, with that, or with understanding about vehicles, or with things at work, like certain aspects of my job, or, oh God, other things that people say, man, you could do this. You have skill in this. Like, it's very raw. It's not great right now, but you could definitely be good. I also see that, but in me, I'm like, I don't want to anymore. I don't want to be the best. I don't want to be good at a bunch of things. I'm sick of it. Like, the reason I come back to writing is because it makes me it helps me realize how much I suck at writing. It's the one thing I don't ever feel like, yeah, like, I'm just fucking good at this. I can just do it without even trying that hard. And I know if I tried really hard, I'd be the best at it, but I don't want to. I like to be right down the mediocre line. This is the one thing where it's like, oh, as soon as I sit down, I'm like, I suck. This is horrible. I'm the worst at it. And it humbles me. You know, it makes me more realizing. Like, that's why I don't like it. I fucking hate it, but that's why I do it. That's why I don't give up on writing, even though I just don't enjoy it. It's not fun. It's a humbling experience of, like, who I really am. And it shows me how much I need to understand. It's difficult sometimes. But that's it, man. I mean, that's the biggest reason why I do it. You know, it started out with a fun little humble experience of, wouldn't it be cool if I had my own world? And that turned from that into, oh God, like, the fucking inner politics of this. I don't know what to do. You know, like, where it's gotten so complex that it's like, well, like, would they have this technology by now? This race has it? And then, well, like, if they pray to this God, how does worship work throughout their culture? Like, is there a caste system involved? Like, now I got all these complex fucking thoughts and shit, and what it does is it keeps me moving. Which is why I enjoy doing it, you know? I'm more than happy to learn a new thing, but I don't want to, that's what I was saying, and I was going to say in the video, in the vehicle. I was like, I want to get an older truck. I just like older things, but I don't want to sit and, like, get this project thing. And there's a whole bunch of reasons why I can't, because I only can have one vehicle, and I can't have one vehicle. I'm constantly, like, wrenching in the motherfucker. I don't have the time to wrench in it when I'm trying to work on my book, but also, mostly, I don't want to learn more shit. Like, I already got enough things going on in this book, and now it's like, well, fuck, I don't want to learn the inner workings of a carburetor right now. You know what I mean? Or, like, exactly how to determine what kind of knock is that, or, I don't know, like, this vacuum line, this line does this, and that one, like, it's easy to learn, I know. If it wasn't, there wouldn't be a bunch of mechanics in the world. It's just another goddamn thing I don't want to be good at right now. Maybe in the future, when I have finished a few books, I might, but not right now. I want an old truck, but I'm going to probably buy it where it's like someone totally refurbished the motherfucker. I found a couple. They're like 12 to 20 grand. They took the bed and the cab off. They just cleaned the whole frame and put new liner on it, and they changed the whole suspension system, and they got all the rust off the body. It's like in mint condition. The engine's been redone. Like, I would buy that instead. I want the work being done, and then I'll maintain the thing. That's where I'm at now. Hence why I haven't bought a truck. Do I have the money? Yes, I could do that. Is it smart? I don't know. Whatever. We got a lot of play money to use, and I can just get a loan. Whatever. That's what I was talking about the truck, which the video was going to be about, but it didn't happen. But for me, that would mean I'd have to abandon the book, because I don't like to have my mind deeply in a bunch of places at once. You know, if I had grown up with these skills, I wouldn't have to think so hard. If I had a mechanic for a dad, I would have been like second nature. I'd be like, oh, it's not hard to work on the book and be a mechanic. I've known about this my whole life. For me, I started learning about this a few years ago. I have a lot to learn. I have like the understanding of like an 8-year-old when it comes to cars. Like enough as the dad teaches the 8-year-old. But anymore, I don't know. You know, what's a powertrain? What exactly does a lifter do? I don't fucking know. You know? Point out to me fucking this part, and I would be like, I don't know. The book is the main focus of my life, so I have to continue that. It's the one thing that I've truly self-taught myself, which I'm not great, let's be honest. I have a lot of issues because I don't know how to do it right. But I've done it, you know, with the help along the way. Let's be honest. But yeah, that's what's difficult, I guess, is what I'm laboring towards. Is it's the one thing that I do that makes me not feel like I'm the best. You know, as soon as I go to work, like, the job is so fucking easy. I don't even have to think that hard. Only reason I stay there is because it keeps me physical. Keeps me, you know, having muscles, and it keeps me from not getting really overweight. That's the only reason. I'm walking around all day and lifting shit. So, might as well just keep doing that. But the job's easy. It's looking at my bosses and what they have to do, I'm like, that's so easy. I could fucking do that. I know I could. I've been here long. I've been here 10 years. I know exactly what to do. But I don't want to. Because it's just like, I don't want to be good. Again, I don't want to be good at this. You know, or like other aspects of my life. I can see where I could go. Like the music is a big one. I can hear the music in my head, and it's fucking really cool. And all the weird, intricate shit, and I'm like, I could learn it. I just gotta learn exactly how sound works so I can fuck with the mixing board. But I know how to do it. And the music's cool and weird and shit, but it's like, I don't want to be good at this. You know, like, it's cool skill. But I'm not gonna be the guy that takes that out and, like, I tour and I want to get, like, in my songs or my expression, and I want people to hear it. Like, the songs to me are a secondary element to the book. That's it. I mean, I wanted to learn how music worked. I learned, but to me, it's just a tool for the book. You know, it's a cool way to emphasize things. But I'm not going to be playing every instrument. Other people can do that shit. I can tell them what to do, but I'm not playing it. That's kind of like what I've learned about myself, is like, there are some who are more than happy to be the jack of all trades but master of none. I'm not that person. I'm more than happy to pass off something to someone that has skill in it already. If it's putting a new diff cover on my truck, I'll give it to that guy to do because he knows how to do it. I'm not going to learn it. You know, if it's, I don't fucking know. If I need music created for my book and I'm just not feeling like I can, I don't know, maybe there's a section that I feel unsure of. If someone else says something, I'm going to let him do it. He's got it. He can do this. It's not a big deal. I'm okay with relenting my fucking pride to other people to help me. You know, this book, whenever I come to a section where I'm just like, I don't know, I would meet somebody, and the two guys are still involved. There's one that isn't, but I would go to those guys and I'd say, like, I don't know what to do. They would give me something, and I had enough in me to swallow my pride and say, like, yours is better. We're going to roll what you said. You had a better skill, I'm going to allow you to take the lead here. Even though it's mine, I'll let you take the lead on this. And you might make it better. Like, that's kind of the point of everything for me. Like, is it partial laziness? Maybe, but I'd like to believe, in my mind at least, when I'm thinking about it, it's always like, I'm going to allow someone else, so I don't have to do everything. It's not all on my shoulders, you know. I don't need to save the world. I just need to be in a community of people and make good things. Like, that's all I got to do. What the fuck would I even call this video? Good Lord. What was I talking about? Like fucking finishing a book, and then all of a sudden talking about my childhood. Now we're talking about how I act conceptually. The inner thoughts of a madman. No. The inner thoughts of, I don't know. What goes into the labor? We'll call it that. Does it make a lot of sense? Not really, but you'll figure it out. Yeah, that's what we'll call it. What goes into the labor? Your grandma, usually. When I'm fucking her. I can't believe you said that. Yeah, well, I can't believe I just blew my load on her.